We got a viewer suggestion from Zix. This is Midas Touch clip talking about Clay Higgins, a Republican who seems to think it's acceptable to get physical with people. As far as I'm concerned, that means he's opened up the doors to anybody that would like to do the same to him. But let's instead just knock him out politically. How about that? Kick his butt out of office. It is well deserved. Let's see what Midas Touch has to say about it.
I'm Ben Meiselas from the Midas Touch Network. MAGA Republican Clay Higgins attacked an activist who was asking MAGA Republican members of Congress questions during a press conference they were holding. And specifically, this activist was asking a question of Lauren Boebert about her announcement that she would be getting divorced from her husband. Lauren Boebert had previously made a number of disparaging comments about people who have been through divorce. So the hypocrisy there is, I think, worth asking a question about, and purely for that basis. But in any event, the activist was asking a question, and let me just show you what happened when that activist was asking this question. Play this clip.
No, you're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. Aren't you a congressperson touching me? Get off me.
Someone video this. Get this on video.
Get off me.
Get this on video. This is assault.
Higgins, get off me.
This is
what are you
assault.
trying to do, Clay Higgins? Stand fine. You're a U.S. congressman touching a person. You can't put him off the street. Get off me.
All right, you're not going to like this, but thing number one, push back. Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we live in brutal times. But if they're going to throw elbows, if the ref's not calling elbows, throw elbows. What should have happened there is the police should have had to intervene. Clay Higgins gets physical. This guy should have got physical back. Yeah, I realize that's something that people don't like to hear. I realize that's not the way things should function. That's the way things must function. Must function. If we want to keep our country. You get shoved by that effing used car salesman pretending to be a politician. You shove his ancient butt back. What is this? Your shoulders tucked and your legs buckled. Looks like he's about to get bowed down on the dance floor. Shove Clay Higgins back. Make the police say, whoa, 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 whoa. Make a report get filed. Make it an incident that requires court intervention. Yes, you will suffer. You will. So will Clay Higgins. I appreciate that it's difficult to think on your toes. But now we know who we're dealing with. Now we know who we're dealing with. As of this moment, there is no excuse not to be ready for these motherfuckers. Handle them appropriately. Don't let yourself get pushed. I don't care if you're 90 pounds. Struggle. Fight. Have a backbone. Don't permit Nazi scum. Don't permit bigots like this to even have the illusion of actual strength. They are weak. They are pathetic. They are the absolute worst of humanity. Treat them like it. We're terrified, just terrified, to have backbone. Why? Because people who don't want us to have spent our whole lives telling us that it's bad to stick up for ourselves, telling us that there is no time where it's appropriate to defend oneself. We've seeded the concept of self-defense to the right. That's insane. I respect this guy. I respect this guy for getting up there and making a scene. Good. Go further. You get pushed by some punk like Clay Higgins. You push back. You don't have to win, but you do have to fight.
You need to calm down.
Calm down, sir.
Yeah, I mean, that's not acceptable behavior by a member of Congress or anybody to engage in that physical.
It's not acceptable from a member of Congress. It is acceptable from the guy getting pushed. You don't only have a right to respond, you have an obligation to respond so that others don't get pushed and so that others don't get punched, because that leads to others getting shot. Pushback.
Contact and conduct with this activist. I'm going to show it to you just from another angle. This is actually from the phone of that activist. Here, play this clip.
Representative Bober, can you talk about your divorce? Did it have anything to do with giving food poisoning to Shooter's Bar and Grill? Just a question about your divorce, please. Can you please stop touching me, sir? What is your name? What is your name, sir? Stop. What's your name, sir? Get off me. Get off me.
You're on me, sir. Come on.
You're on me. You're on me. You're touching me.
Look, you're on the wrong side of the back.
Representative Bober, can we hear about your divorce?
You're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. You're out.
Aren't you a congressperson touching me? Get off
sir.
me. You're hurting
Yes, sir, I
me.
am.
You're hurting me. Get off me. Get off me.
Yes, sir, I am.
Clay Higgins.
Also, that you're hurting me. It's like falling down on a soccer field. He wasn't hurting him, but he was pushing the guy, which is inappropriate.
Get off me. What are you trying to do, Clay Higgins?
Stand by.
You're a U.S. congressman touching a
Stand by.
person.
Calm down.
You're manhandling. Get off me.
down.
Get off me.
Calm down.
Get off me.
Calm down.
And by the way, do you want to know Clay Higgins' background? Well, let's take a look. In 2004, Clay Higgins became a patrol officer in a police department. By 2007, Police Chief Perry Gallo was prepared to take major disciplinary action against Higgins. In a letter to the city council, he wrote, Clay Higgins used unnecessary force on a subject during the execution of a warrant and later gave false statements during an internal investigation. Although he later recanted his story and admitted to striking a suspect in handcuffs and later releasing him, Higgins resigned before disciplinary action could be imposed. So, as Peter Strzok said, the same guy who quit being a patrol officer before he could be disciplined for using unnecessary force on a subject, striking a subject in handcuffs, and then lying about it, just engaged in this conduct that you saw right there and found a warm welcome and home in the modern-day MAGA Republican Party.
Let's leave that right there. Really drill this home. All your friends, all your family, everyone you come into contact with, Republicans are criminals. And I'm not saying that as a euphemism. I mean, they're literally a criminal organization. The Republican Party is a criminal organization. If somebody is a member of the Republican Party, they are a member of a criminal organization. They might be unknowingly a member of this criminal organization. That's plausible. It's, in fact, probably likely for most of the voters that say they're a member of that organization, but make it clear they are indeed a member of a criminal organization. It uses criminal tactics. Case in point. They play that game where they pay for the attorneys of people that might testify against them to cut off the testimony. They engage in stochastic terrorism. They are the Taliban. That's what we're dealing with. We are responding to them incorrectly. We should not be treating them like they're a legitimate organization. Make sure everybody you know hears the phrase, Republicans are criminals, because it is true. It's a statement of fact.
This is him yesterday during a MAGA Republican hearing on the District of Columbia. They've been holding these bizarre performative hearings where they just continue to attack Washington, D.C. and public urination or whatever it is that they're even doing with these hearings. Just completely bizarre and deranged. But here is Clay Higgins asking a question of D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, and just watch how she responds to this. It's quite incredible. Play this clip.
Is there any other city in the country where you're going to just bump into potentially hundreds of congressmen and 100 senators at any given restaurant or grocery store? Is there any municipality in the country that offers that level of personal access to the seat of government of these United States?
Congressman, I've already explained that I'm born and raised here, and I've spent most of my life here. I've been serving an elective office
when
for
you were
15
growing up,
years.
did you bump into government
Let me
officials?
just finish, Congressman.
I'm reclaiming
I
my
have
time,
never
good lady.
been to an event where I happened to bump into 100 senators.
You've lived here.
I want to remind the crowd that clapping is a disruption. So, Chair recognizes Mr. Higgins for 5 minutes.
Congratulations on not having bumped into 100 senators at one time. That would be horrific.
Here's another question that he asked, and watch how Mayor Bowser from D.C. answers this.
You've just testified regarding your specific role, your personal role in the days leading up to January 6th in the D.C. National Guard. Do you have counsel present, ma'am?
No.
Do you wish to amend your testimony in any way regarding what you stated today?
I do not.
Very well. Mayor Bowser, you are the mayor of Washington, D.C., correct?
I am.
And Washington, D.C. is the capital of the United States of America, correct?
It is.
The Capitol is the home of the entire seat of our government, the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch. The president is here, the vice president is here, 435 congressional offices, 100 Senate.
Side note, y'all want to know why I have no plans to ever run for office. It is because I do not know how you interact with people like this in a civil manner. I have so much respect for Mayor Bowser for the fact that she is not currently awaiting trial for beating that man with his name tag.
Offices, the Supreme Court, all departments of the government are headquartered here. All agencies are headquartered here. In your knowledge, you're a very intelligent American. You have a clear understanding of history.
Christ, get to the point.
In your knowledge, ma'am, is there any other municipality in these United States that has access to our seat of government as the citizens of Washington, D.C.?
Actually, they all have more access because they have voting members of Congress.
I'll ask you to restrict your answers to my question.
And just so you have a sense of the types of questions that
Higgins
asks and what he does during these hearings.
God.
This is from September 29th of...
Great suggestion, by the way. And I meant to comment. A lot of what we're trying to do is comment on the media itself and you know, be it on the internet or on cable or on print, whatever. Ben Meiselas is doing a fantastic job. You know I love old Knock 'em Out Pete here. No comments. He's just presenting this wonderfully.
2022. This was this is what he said during the hearing as well. Play this clip.
My wife had a friend who had an abortion that I didn't know for years what they discussed. That was a private matter.
If I would have known, I would have made it much more difficult for her, of course. I would have done everything in my power to just take somebody who was going through some pain and make it worse, because I am essentially a demon.
Between my wife and her friend, but after many, many years, my wife shared with me that her friend had had an abortion long before.
So I called
and
her
she was
a whore.
haunted by that. She would have nightmares of little hands, tiny little hands. And I was familiar with those tiny little hands because my own daughters would wrap around my finger just barely.
See you next Tuesday.
So this is a painful and deeply personal discussion.
This is who MAGA Republican Clay Higgins is. Obviously, he thinks that the laws don't apply to him, but you see his behavior at these hearings as well, which we've got to call out here on the Midas Touch Network. Thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers.
Great
Thanks to your
suggestion.
support. Check us out at
Fantastic. Thank you.
patreon.com/Midas Touch. And wherever you get audio podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the Midas Touch.
Okay, so thoughts on Clay Higgins putting his hands on people. First of all, if some nerd politician ever shoves you, shove him back. It might seem to you like, oh wait, it's not my place to decide when physicality happens. You're right, it's not, nor is it theirs. If they shove you, they've decided physicality's happening. A working man or a working woman will actually know what adversity looks like. You are tougher than pampered, cowardly politicians. So shove them back. They've given you a gift. They've given you a glorious gift, which is the legal right to push them onto their fat butts. Take advantage of it. But look, that's a small point. That's just because I wanted that to be more embarrassing for Clay Higgins. Right now, it isn't embarrassing. Right now, that's going to be something that makes more people vote for him, because Republicans, in addition to being criminal, are also scum, and they'll appreciate that about him. All told, truthfully, and my immature little rant aside, truthfully, what that activist did was fantastic. The real hero here is somebody who had the courage to show up and call out this scum for their hypocrisy. He did a great job. Lauren Boebert chose to be cruel to people when they were going through a painful life experience. And when she went through it, deservedly, she's getting raked over the coals by this activist. That man is a hero, even though I think he should have been. I think he should have chosen immaturity there, and even though I acknowledge that that advice is the sort of thing that a dumb internet guy can say. Set all that aside, the big takeaway: that guy's a hero, and we should all be like him. Show up and harass these motherfuckers. Clay Higgins himself needs to go. That is the kind of criminal scum that the Republican Party is now. And it's just a matter of how brazen they're willing to be about it, how courageous they are. You can have courage in evil people too. And it just comes down to whether or not they think it'll hurt them politically. But given the opportunity, if they were in a room with a switch, and they could turn it on and cause people, just anybody, pain, or not touch it and nothing would happen, every single Republican would flip it on. As long as that switch said that they personally will not feel pain, even if they weren't going to gain anything from it, they would just flip it on, just to make sure somebody else had felt more pain in the world. That's who they are. That's the content of their character. That is true evil. And that's who Republicans are. In our two-party system, we have experienced something called Kramerization. It's like in a sitcom. As time goes on, you become the parody of yourself. That means that Republicans and Democrats are almost indiscernible as they bow down to corporations. MAGA is just a recruitment center for criminals. And progressives are literally the only political group just trying to run the country correctly. Just at all interested in decency. That's where we are. So there's a real easy what you can do about this. Vote in primaries. Go as far left as you can. We've got 3 steps to fixing America. Step 1, you vote in primaries. You go as far left as you can. Step 2, in 2024, you vote blue no matter who. I don't care if it's distasteful. I had to vote for Joe Biden. That will haunt me. That will haunt me for a long time, but I did it and I will do it again. Step 3, once we have victory in 2024, complete and total victory, we ain't done. Step 3 is we push. We push for serious change. We had an opportunity. We've had a number of opportunities. Last time we really had one was the beginning of Obama's presidency. If we would have been out there demanding the change he promised, I think we would have seen a very different 8 years of Obama. Instead, we saw no change. We saw more of the neoliberal nonsense that has always been. And the American people who don't follow things all that closely responded to that. To, again, the promised change that was the promise of change being broken. They responded by destruction. They responded with Trump. They knew what he was. They knew he was a destructive force. They put him in there to destroy. And he was successful. Much of what America is gone. And fortunately, so have the illusions about what America was. They have also gone. So, 3 steps to victory, 3 steps to true change, 3 steps to fixing America. Number 1, vote in primaries. You go as left as you can. Number 2, in 2024, vote blue, no matter who. Campaign for somebody. Donate if you can. Put in the effort, put in the time, put in the energy. It will be exhausting, but we will win. And when we do, then we grab these punks by the scruff of the neck and make them work for us. And by the way, the more we practice that now, the more we make it a habit to write these people, to write emails, to make phone calls, the more it is a natural thing for us to do, the easier it will be. Both because we have developed the habit and we've broken these horses in. Tame some of these politicians to obeying you ahead of 2024. And you will find it is easier after 2024 to keep it going. It'll be a hard road, but we're going to walk it together.